What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. It is 8 p.m. It is Thursday. It is almost Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys got your stuff in order. It's getting down to the wire. Let's see. We should have some sound. I think it might be a little low. Let me turn that up a little bit. How's that? Is that a little better? Let's see if I can improve the master audio a little bit. That should be a little better. All right, here, let's put that up. Good, good. Yeah. All right, there we go. Might be a little too much now. Awesome. Just obviously doing tweaks because this is what we do every week, try to get all this stuff done. But we are live. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, good, that's better. Good. Good. Yeah, it's a little easier for me to control. I did a little change up here. So where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So now I can see all this stuff on my iPad, which I can share and do all this fun stuff. Yeah. So we're getting there. Trying to make it better. Trying to make it better. Cool. Who we got in the house tonight? We got JK's Customs, Gary, what's going on? Rob, CRA, Shay, Don, Wilbur, Rob Adam, 1978. What else did I see early on here? We had Darren, first one in. Darren Plank, Todd Keith, Selena Shea Studios. Cool. Everything's doing good. Who else we got here? There's probably more. Michael Stanton. When I scroll on my computer, I can see more. Like the teleprompter only shows me, small amount. So if I miss it, I miss it. So I try not to miss it. Hope everyone's having a great week. Let's get right into it. Show you where we left off. I did a little short of me mixing and straining the paint, which actually worked out good because the white I shook up had some chunks in it. You could actually see the chunks at the end of straining it. Why I'm such a big proponent for straining. Let's see. Go to our down cam here. We got our paints mixed up in our handy dandy little tray. They've strained out. This is what we got going. I was going to try to do a mix video, but I really couldn't get it done in time for tonight. So I'm using Candy Deep Purple, and I'm using Candy Black. What I've done for my darker color, it's mostly deep purple and like 5% black, just to kick up the darkness, maybe a little higher. And then so that's this one here. Then I got regular deep purple. Then I have regular Wicked Colors, detail violet, so it's a little semi-transparent. And then I have the illustration magenta. These are the ones I like the most. And then I have my Wicked White mixed up. And that's how I made this pink color. I mixed them together just to get a pink. 38 watch, that's great. No, that's a big jump. There's only 7 a minute ago. So thank you all for popping in. If I didn't see you pop in, thank you. Hope you enjoy the feed. We got a lot going on tonight. I did some additions. Let's pop in here, show you what we got. All right, this is where we're at. Let me bring up my little reference image here. I got to move this Stream Deck so I don't have to look down. I need to put it somewhere I think I need to put it like there. Because if you look at my system, like it's down here and I got to look. So I think I got to move this because this is I do all my switching for a lot of stuff. I think I got to move this like here. So I don't have to, I think that's what I got to do. So this is what we got going on here. All right, bring up reference image. So from last week to this week, I added a few things. Man, I'd love to get to 100. Share that shit. Sorry. Share that stuff. So that's the reference image. It's pretty much what I did last week, but I made some additions, and what could go wrong? Yeah, that's story of my life. Most of us who do live feeds and stuff, that's kind of what we deal with all the time. And like right before I came on tonight, I got a warning that my bit rate was low and blah, 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 so I wasn't sure if it's going to be glitchy. I still got an eerie feeling that things were being weird online earlier. It's got a feeling things are going to glitch. Hopefully they don't. So hopefully by talking about it doesn't happen. So we'll see. All right. So what I did from last week to this week, and oops, that's why. I was wondering why stuff was too bright. I had light on that I didn't have before. Yeah, that's better. Now let me try to adjust this. That's a little too bright. This one, I had a light that I normally don't have on. I can't get this one to do what I want to do. So that's going to be how that one looks. All right. Sorry about that. Missed part 1, live for part 2. Greetings from Mexico. Hey, man, Luis, thank you for popping in. Really appreciate that. Great improvement on your studio cameras and sound. Oh, man, thank you very much. Yeah, sound's been tricky, man, to get right. And I started to get it. And then I got this new system here, which I got this crazy interface that has like all this stuff to adjust, and I played around with some of it, and that probably wasn't the best idea. And then I can switch around to different, and it's just kind of, it's more of a pain, but it's more powerful, and just had a lot more issues, but I'm getting it. I'm starting to get it. Oh man, cool. Ray Shea, thank you so much for that. I'm going to give you a big bam, bam, bam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Alice from the UK. We got Mexico, US. We got Canada. We got everywhere in the house. Rob, you like the font? Yeah, it was just something. I just did a bunch of searching. I didn't find anything I liked. So I just started mixing stuff up, and I found some different references in a Baroque art and just kind of hodgepodge it together. It would be cool to do a whole alphabetical font like that. Yeah, no, it came together. The heart was one image I made up and worked with, and then the Q was another one. I tweaked it, and yeah, it kind of worked out cool. So for those who've already downloaded it, so whoops, wrong switch. Here. All right. For those who already downloaded it, I've already updated the download. So if you already downloaded it, you would have got an email tonight. If you didn't, let me know. That'll have the update file already in it. Okay. And so, and when I did, the file format has three files. One is this size, which is my 12 by 18 panel. The other one is a 9 by 12 or a 9 by 13. That'll fit your craft cutters like your Cricut, your Cameo, and things like that. And then there's another file which just has the Q by itself. It's just the Q by itself. Let me know if you're interested. I can do the Q and the heart separate and upload those too. You can play with them that way. I got like 4 versions of the heart. The heart was really complicated. I put way too much in it, and when I shrunk it down to the size to fit here, it was just too much to cut. So, which I have them already cut here. And so these, basically when I uploaded the file, the file looks like this. It's got the full image. What I did for myself, because I've already started a plot, I have an insert, so I just made a file that's going to insert right into my piece like this when I go to mask it off later. So I'm going to work in here, and this will be one of the last things I'll put on. Yeah, whole outfit would be rad. If I had time and made enough money doing it, then maybe. But I don't. Okay, so this is what we got going on. And if you look from last week to this week, I don't know if I have. Oh, I do. I wasn't happy with what I had going on with the hair. I had a start of it of like left and right part where the light was going to hit, like the heavy light was going to be on this side, and then this, and it just needed some more down here. And so you can see what I did here. I altered the vector, I changed the part to a better position, so it just looks a little nicer. I'm not going to be able to mess with it too much here tonight, but I will. I'll use some of it. And then, so the new file has a lot more hair definition and placement to mess with. So when you guys go to do the project, you have some more options. What I'll probably do is I'll probably paper cut this, and I'll use some of these extra curves. But I've already filled in most of the hair, so what I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to use this part and kind of tweak this is what I'm going to do. So let's just start out with that. Let's start out. Bobby, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's do a little whoop. Let's do a little hand cut work here. Let's get this out. So what I'm going to do, if you guys don't have plotters, this file set includes, really high res PPG, PNG, and a what I'm trying to say here, PNG, JPEG, and things like that. So if you just want to print them out and work with a print file and do like a normal transfer like I normally do, you can do all that. There's some weird glare on this, right? That's a little too dark. I think that's too dark. How about that? Is that better? Or is that's too bright? I think right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right into here because that's right where we're at. And I'm just going to hit this. Because that's where we're going to work the hairline from. So now, what I'm going to do with most of this, I'm going to freehand most of this in. But, you guys can do whatever you're more comfortable with. There we go. For those interested in bidding, there is a $250 bid on this. I'm expecting to go a little more since this is a massively complex painting. And it's really cool. So yeah, so that's just going to establish the hair a little more. And we can do a lot with that later, a lot of erasing and stuff like that. I really want to get like the basic, what's going through the crown. I gotta remember to look up a little bit more. Things like that. And the crown is going to have a nice little shadow right here. All right, that kind of establishes that. Cool. Good here. Oh, so and what I also did, like you can see the hair down here. I'm going to put the queen symbol down here, upside down. So it's like a playing card. And I added some more hair in. So if I also use that, I can actually use that right now. Run, Basil, what's going on? Knife. Man, I lose the knife and it's right in front of me. Anyone else constantly lose knives, or is it just me? I think I need a new blade. This one's rather dull. All right, let's use some of this. Almost too dark in here. Almost too dark. Hold on. I'll go right there. There we go. I'll go right there. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, just a little piece right here. And this is when I work with paper and when I work with stencils, and I encourage this to all you, don't overdo stencils. Just use a little bit, especially for hair and organic stuff. Just use a little, just to get a little flow. Because now I can take that and I can freehand off it. You can really just mess that hair. I'm not too stressed here because it's going to be mostly freehand. And I mean, it's going to have the big queen symbol here, and we'll have some fire and smoke going around it. I'm just going to establish just a little bit. And I think this color is really, really dark. I think I mixed it a little darker than last week. I'm going to try to go to the lighter purple I got here. Let's see if I can get that. What am I missing here? Got a lot of paintbrush work. And okay. Yeah, that's too bright. Yeah, the pink light in the background's really throwing. All right, do you guys like it like that or that? I think it might be better for you to see like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. All right. So we got that. I'm going to come into here later. We have here. Get the hand. We got a lot to do. I don't know. I'm going to hope to get this done tonight. It'll be done to the point if I have to finish on Monday, I will. It defeats the Valentine's Day purpose, but it's not going to anyone by Valentine's Day, so it's fine. You like that or that? So like the brighter. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Okay. So where am I going to work now? I want to get this crown off. Just so it looks kind of complete up here. All right, let's do that. Let's get the crown off. It's going to be really simple. Actually, what I'm going to do first is this gem right here. I want to get this one established because it's off to the side. I'm just going to pull this. I got a little scratch. I'm just going to hit that very soft. It goes away. Now I'm pulling the crown. Because that's behind the hair, so we got to shadow that. It's easier than you think. Yeah, the brighter one I think is definitely the key here. Let's get a couple of long stencils here. The good old big shield. All right, so I want see how this hair and this it just kind of this hair is above it, so it should be cast in a shadow. So that's a nice thing about loose stencils is just being able to go in like this and hit it. Then we're gonna find a little curve here and hit. Now I'm gonna freehand it. Whenever I use a stencil, I usually try to freehand it after and just soften that edge. I made this kind of battling what I had last week to this week because I mixed it a little different. I didn't save it. So and I mixed the purple for like a glaze, so I made it extra thin. Just trying to do line work. It wasn't really working for me. Alfred, what's going on, man? All right. Because really, the goal with this is to do the majority with one candy. And it's like a purple with just a hint of black in it. And then I can darken it later or do some glaze coats. There we go. All right. So see, now I can kind of come in here and I can hit that hair and then soften out here more. And now that crown drops behind. Same thing here. Let's find another curve. We'll use one of the old Michael Casey templates. Just find a curve that fits there. See, just hit it. And now I soften that edge. Let it come out. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little like core highlighting. We'll do some little edge work, like a little gleam. Kind of comic book style. Like it's got a little reflection going on. Now, when you skullify an image, you always have the eyes. Well, yeah, because the eyes, I never have them protruding outside of the socket. Because in reality, they do to a point. But they look goofy as hell. So, with a thing like this is, these eyes still have fleshy skin around it. So when I skullify, you know, sometimes it's, how do I explain? Let me go here. How do So a lot of times what I do is I basically want the face and then all the features sunken in, so you're seeing the skull eyes, you're seeing the shape of the eye sockets, the nose through the skin. Something like this, where the skin is pretty much gone, I'm just kind of going halfway in between. So it depends. If realistically, yes, the eyeballs would be protruding like outside of the actual socket more. And when you do that, they kind of look a little goofy, especially if you want to have expression. Because if you want to have expression of the eyes, you have to have skin around it. Or you're just going to have a big ball. I very rarely ever do a big ball. I usually have it inset a little bit, yeah. But it's a good question. All right, so this here, basically this crown I'm looking at, it's coming down, and it's just going to have a little shadow going this way, just so it comes out a little bit like that. We'll do the same thing here. Just so it's like a little overlay like that. And then I think what I'm going to do, and maybe I'll add this. Do I have this one here? No. Yeah, this one I cut. Usually I would have everything more prepared, but there's such a big project to do in this time frame that I'm doing a lot on the fly. What I'm going to do here is I want to have like this bevel. I want to have this like beveled edge like this, like it's going through the center. Okay, so I'm just going to, and you can put one here, you can put one here. I'm not going to get that crazy. You could do all sorts of three-dimensionals. I was going to do extra cuts and extra things. You can do all that if you want. But I'm just going to do this. I'm just taking that edge like this. No, she hasn't been a while. I know I don't know if she's going back to school or she's had a bunch of stuff going on. She's a busy girl. All right. So what I did is I got half there. So this side is going to be the more shadow side. So I'm just going to lightly hit it and you'll see it. It'll instantly give it like a nice little bevel. I'm going to loosen that up a little bit. And now I want to make these gems pocketed in. So if they're pushed in, the shadow's on the top because it's going to push in, the light's coming down. The light's going to hit the lower side, and the shadow will be the top. And it's going to make more sense. So I'm going to go around the whole thing like this, right? But I'm going to do really heavy up the top. Really heavy up the top. And just a light kiss over the whole thing. Really heavy on all the tops of these. That's going to give it a more inset feel. Kind of like if you look at my rivet exercises. This is how you do rivets. And you could just take a loose curve like this and maybe just hit a little edge here. I'm going to make sure you hit the whole thing. See, and this is, I've been asked before, like when I do a lot of stuff, I don't do silver panels or heavy metallic panels. This is why, because it's so hard to light the whole thing evenly because of all the flake reflections. So if you're getting some glare out here, you know, that's why it was, you know, depending, see that versus this, it's just a more glare on it. So that's why metallics are really hard to do on camera, because it plays all sorts of tricks. Cool, now we can pull these off. I think I got enough. Yeah, I got enough there. Pull that, and they look really flat right now, but this is where Airbrush Basics and Airbrush 101, and I have that video, comes in handy. Because if you learn how to do a sphere, how to make a sphere look round, let's just go back right here. So if you learn to make a sphere, you know you don't shadow all the way to the bottom. You do a coarse shadow just in here, like this. And now it starts to look round. It's almost like a frowny face, but you just kind of come up. And if we put highlights later, we'll be brighter right there. There we go. Same thing here. These are really little. That one's almost under the hair, so it's going to be dark. And there you go. Couple minutes. It's already looking great. Appreciate that, Gary. Okay, let's get down to the rose. Let's get down to the rose here. I think I can go. Yeah, I'll go down like there. Let's see if we can get a little bit more focused in. Good. Okay. All right, I got to get the rose set, so I'm going to get really dark around these leaves so we get some good delineation, good shadow coming off it, get the whole thing around. And we'll have the flower casting a shadow down on her chest here, just to tie it all together. So see, that is hooked up because it's very far away, so it's going to follow the curvature of her skin, which is going to go from her shoulder down to her breast and here. So it's going to just radius in. I'm not going to do a ton down here. Oh man, that's awesome. That's very cool. Well, thanks, Jammer. Appreciate that. Give everyone a good cheers. Cheers, everyone. Look, matching skulls. All right. All right. So we got to get the rose. So the rose, if you look, right here, we got the rose with a skull in it. So if you're sensing a theme, you're quick. And I've done some rose how-tos before and some step-by-steps. And I have a whole file set of rose downloads, vectors, stuff like that. So I've got a few videos if you look back. You know my premise, and when I'm on a lighter surface, I work from the background to the foreground. Okay? Whoop. That's the wrong one. Color bars. Live. Always live. Okay. So I always work from background to foreground. So that's why I drop shadowed this, and then we're going to work up. So now we're going to pull the leaves because they're in the background. So we're going to go background, foreground. So we're going to keep going background, up, background, up. So we're going to work. See how the stem is under the hands? It's under this hand, under there. So we're going to do here, here, except for that finger's under. So you're looking at the levels, okay? Oh, God, I did that again. Sorry, guys. I'm out of sync. Out of sync. All right, so now we're going to pull these. And on the file, there's a mid-cut here. So if you want to pull from the rose forward, you can do this. You can roll up like that, see? And just do a little boop, 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 like that, just for registration. But it keeps it really clean. Like that. Now you have the center of the leaf. Now you can freehand up. And see, by freehanding up, just like that, it gets rid of that stencil look. Look, I love using plotted files. I love hand cutting, mask and doing cut mask, but I don't want it to look like that at the end. If you look at some of the best lowrider trunk murals and things like that, you'll notice they don't have a million colors in. They're crisp and they're soft and they're crisp where they need to be. So that's kind of the key, especially when you work with candies. It's really nice to be able to do that. So same thing. I'm going to go from the rose. I'm going to do two of these at once. I'm going to roll this one forward. Roll this one forward. Like that, okay? I got a little... I don't have enough delineation right here. So I'm going to roll that back. And I'm just going to sheet a little more. Get that hair. There we go. Now, I'm just going to build that contrast, okay? So now I can hit here. Boop. Beep, 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 beep. Now I can hit you. And now I can hit that. So you can see you already have a little dimension. Freehand up that. This was one of those things when I did the original design, I was going to do like last week's, the week before, where I just transferred the image and freehanded a loose shield in the way. But I want to make this a project that you guys can follow, and I made it available in the store, so this project's available for download if you want to give it a shot. It's a $20 download. And it's going to come with a lot of extra files. Let's see, now you got all that established. Now what I need to do is the stem underneath. And here. Those who've downloaded a bunch of my files, you know that if I midway through, even months later, if I have an idea about a file I've already done, how to improve it, I just update it, you get a link, and it's all ready for you guys. You know, I don't do the, oh, I'm going to make a new version of it and charge again for it. I hate that shit. I hate people who do it. If people already bought the base file, then you make a couple adjustments, don't charge them. So see how I did that? So now that row is going through those fingers. So I can drop shadow them. Well, let's go, guys. Enjoy your work. Download the flag project. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, skulls, man. You don't have to be a skull guy for sure. I got a lot of projects that don't revolve around skulls and a lot that do, mainly because in this industry, a lot of people like skulls. And I like skulls. But like the rose file set, I have the rose set as just roses. Then I have a skull and roses set where they're mixed together. So I kind of do both ways. All right, so we're going to come up here. Coarse shadow the stem. So you go heavy. I'm going heavier on this side. See that? We'll come in here. We'll do where the thorn comes up and curls in. Just simple. It doesn't have to be crazy. Like, here's the thing. When you get into a project like this, depending on the client's budget, if I got a client that wants to go all out, I'm going to spend 30 to 40 hours on this thing and pull out every little friggin' detail and make it perfect. And make it crazy and deep and like hairs and bone texture and all the little stuff. If somebody has a budget of fucking, you know, a quarter of that, I can still do the same image. I'm just going to spend a quarter of the time detail-wise. So I'm not going to do every little stem and, you know, fold and highlight and eyelash. I'm going to keep it simpler. So the nice thing about designs like this is you can really work it different ways and put as much or as little detail as the client's budget allows. But in the end, you still got a bitchin' design. And that's really the key, is to just have a killer design that looks good in a car, bike, motorcycle, illustration. You, like I said, for the customer who has $1,000 to the customer that has $5,000 for this mural, I'm going to give them the best for that amount of money and the time, and it's going to look awesome either way. The $1,000 one's going to look good. The $5,000 one's going to look amazing. They're for two different people. If they come next to each other, yeah, some guy's going to have a better version. But I usually don't duplicate things. But you know what I mean. There's ways to, like, you can still do the same design for multiple budgets. So keep that in mind. So here, I'm just going to freehand these for speed. Dagger strokes. Little dagger strokes. If you're not good at dagger strokes, what you can do, you can do the erase technique. Sometimes. Calvin Jones, what's going on, man? Do I do pieces for myself? It's a good question. I have a few in my house. If you go to some of these were done like for the SEMA show in Vegas. Some of these are projects. That's a project file. But like the double koi one, the mechanical koi, cyber koi from this year's SEMA, the girl here with the in the lowrider pattern, those are for SEMA shows, but they're usually open, meaning they give us a general theme, and I basically paint it for myself, how I would want to hang up. Because like this painting here, this double koi one, if I was to sell that, that's going to be $6,000. I spent probably over 80 to 100 hours on it. You know, 23 karat gold inlaid, stuff like that. So I'm not doing that in a live feed for a couple $100. It's not happening. So yeah, and I have a few paintings in my house. I have a few paintings that I don't photograph that are just for me. Something like that. So yeah, I do pieces for myself. My tank is in. Oh, your tank's in Chopper Mag. It's awesome, man. That's cool. Is it your first mag? I remember my first mag. That was awesome. It was so cool. Congratulations, man. That's great. Email me the link. I'd like to see it. Is it this month's issue? What are your thoughts on reducing critics illustration with water? It seems to work better than the 4011. It doesn't work better than the 4011. It may make it thinner, but it's gonna dry a little bit more messed up because it doesn't have the evaporants in. You can use water in a pinch if you're gonna use water. Hey, Dave the Bug Gregory, thank you, sir. Just to get on the tech side, if you're gonna use water to use water-based paint, you have to realize you're sacrificing curing time and hardening time. Because the reducers, and 4011 is okay. I love the 4021. It's a massive improvement. You got to remember, reducers have evaporants in it, basically, and stabilizers. So it keeps the resin stabilized well, and it evaporates properly so the paint cures in the right amount of time and gets hard and bites. Whereas just using water can make it thinner to flow, but you may lose some properties. And depending on how the water is in your town, in your area, you may have attributes to the paint that make it either go bad, or over time it can actually oxidize and rust if you have high iron content in your water. And there's chlorines and things like that. So it just depends. So if you're going to use basic water, get distilled or deionized water by the gallon. That's what 4011, 4021 start out as. They start out there, and then they add evaporants and stabilizers, things like that, so the paint flows and dries better, flow improvers, things like that. So you can, if you're going to use water, just go to the store and get distilled water. But I like 4011. It was a good reducer. But I used to do 4011 mixed with 4020. So it was, I did 4-to-1. 4 parts 4011, 1 part 4020, so it was hotter. And then they came out with the 4021. Once the 4021 came out, I don't mess with anything else. It just works perfect. It balances well. It's as close as I've ever felt to using a urethane with these mixtures. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Can you use water? Yes. Should you use water? Not if you want to be right, but if in a pinch, yeah, you can get away with it. But yeah, distilled water and deionized are the best. Just because, get technical, the way water-based dries, water-based resins and paint, just like solvent paints dry when the solvent's outgas, right? That's how they get hard and cure. The base coat goes down, the reducer evaporates out, and the paint cures and dries because the right speed. If it doesn't evaporate at the right speed, you sometimes get tail solvents trapped. Water-based paints dry similar, and it's that outgassing, but it's really by a pH drop. So when the pH drops, it hardens the paint and cures it. So if your water is a heavy base or a high acid content in your water level, higher than a balanced pH for the paint, it's going to change the way the paint dries. So it'll flow and reduce, it'll work, but it will change the chemical dynamic of how it works. I know it's a long-winded way of saying you can but can't do it. Just I like to give people the information on what's really happening there, and that's what's really happening. Water-based paints dry from a pH drop, and just like paints and solvents dry when the reducers evaporate out. And water itself can only outgas at one speed. Okay, so what can happen is you can skin over the top and trap water, just like you can trap tail solvents and solvent-based paints if you put too thick of coats on too fast. If you trap water solvents, because water is a solvent, if you trap that under your base coat layers or your artwork layers, a few months in the sun, that water is going to heat up and pop through that paint job. So that's why reducer is a lot better. But yeah, the 4021 is awesome. World of difference. Honestly, I don't use my 4011 anymore to reduce. I use it as a cleaner. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good product. It's just the 4021 is so great. All right. So we're here. All right. Oh, so what else? Before I went off track, what I was going to say, if you can't do mini dagger strokes like that, you can shade, and then you could take the eraser stick, and you can do the erasing if you want. Okay, that's one way to do it. How about some of the DIY recipes? I say 2 parts still, 1 part Windex. Don't. Right there, you lost it. Don't use Windex. Because you don't. There's a bunch of other chemicals in Windex that throw it all off. 1 part rubbing alcohol. It depends on the rubbing alcohol. So 70% can work one way, 90 is another way. It can dry too fast. So here's the thing. You can play chemist, and that's what these DIYers do. You're not saving, but by the time you go out and buy everything, spend the time putting it together, and spend the time, you're not saving much, and you're risking the paint not being properly drying. Because remember, companies' paints dry, and they'll put alcohol or acetone and glycerin or glycol and other stuff in there to balance, but they know the amounts that work with the resin that they mix their paint with. And Createx uses a different resin base than Vallejo, which uses a different than ETAC, which uses. So you can play with it, you can get away with it, but it's just better to buy what's formulated by the company. Like I say, you can do anything you want, just like you can use whatever motor oils in a car. It's going to get you by. It's going to work, but you don't really know the underlying conditions. So the problem with all the online DIY guys that tell you all this stuff that works is when it doesn't work, they're nowhere to be found to help you. And then you call the manufacturer and say, hey, my paint job's messed up. And this isn't just water-based. This happens in the solvent world too. They call up and say, hey, my paint job failed. Your paint sucks. And they start going, okay, well, what'd you use for a gun? Oh, I use this. What'd you use for airbrush? I use this. What'd you use for a reducer? Oh, I made my own. You just lost a job. If you use the company's stuff and do it by the book, use all this stuff, right air pressure, and something happens, they're going to back it. PPG does, House of Color does, Createx does. But when you start doing all the Weekend Warrior Chemist stuff, you never know what's going to happen with it. I'm just going to do 40/20 on the second one. And here's even with the reducer with the 40/21, it's got a lot of stuff in there. I would shake it. Give it a good mix. Okay. So these are a little, they look darker on screen, but here's the thing about metallic. See what happens? Like, it looks too dark at that angle, it's bright on that. So it really depends how you look at it. Yeah, there's a lot of it online, and it's been on the forums, and here's the problem. I'll try to correct it on the forum with a text, and you can't get it, and then I'll get attacked, and they'll just say, oh, you're a shrill for Createx and the paint companies and the man. I'm like, then do what you want to do. I don't really think the savings, as minor it is worth the risk. Don't get me wrong. I've used water to reduce it. In a pinch, I don't have a reducer. I'm on a job site. I run out. I'm going to use water, and I'm going to get away with it. Would it be my first choice? No. Yeah, it really helps it really hurts the new people when getting in, because these guys search for answers. They get 50 answers. They try the simplest one to save $1 here, $1 there. They use cheap paint, craft paint to make it and reduce it and add all this stuff. Instead of just using what works for it, and Bobby, you're 100% right. And it's so frustrating for me, because by the time they get to me, they've heard 50 different answers and they don't know what's right. They don't believe me. They're just pissed off, and I get it. Ryan Jabachi Fine Art, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Sorry I butchered your name. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, where are we now? Okay. All right, we got to get to the skull. I got to see if I can zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to move the painting over so you can see. So the reference is in the way. That's what I need if I can assistant. I'm going to bring the brightness up on the camera, because now we're close. Yeah. Pro is just joining. They've never seen it, and only a few. I don't share very often. This is the whole setup I work with. This is the whole show. So it's just me. I'm doing all this. Control everything here and here and here. I just got to show it so people see what this is, and my studio's back here. And that's the messy bench for all the other stuff. But yeah, this is the whole control center that I deal with. All right. Just had to show off a little bit. And I'm a newbie. Far from professional. My dad always said, no, it's not fine professional. Yeah, no, it's really true. And the problem with DIYers these days is, and even some other companies, they just throw stuff out there because they can. And they get popular for it. Some guys get popular. Come on, man. People, you're going to trust online people you never met. These the same people who got a generation to eat Tide Pods because people thought it was cool. Yeah, look, I am a big believer in knowing how to break the rules where you need to. But if I have a choice, I'm going to use what's formulated for it and use it right. And then I will cheat when I need to cheat and mess with stuff I need to check. You need to know the base rules. It's a good rule for life. It's a good rule for drawing and learning how to draw. Just like when I learned to draw skulls. My old skulls back in the day were kind of meh. They look cool. But my wife was great about it. She's like, you should learn how to draw a real skull. Because I never really drew a real looking skull, a human skull. I always draw these messed up tattoo biker skulls, which are fun. But they're not right. So there's always something off about them. So when I learned how to draw real skulls, real anatomical correct with really bitchy detail and all the right angles, then I knew how to break the rules more and make them really exaggerate, gnarly, and messed up. And those gnarly, messed up tattoo skulls looked way better because they started from a base knowledge of reality. So they're more believable and tangible, and then you can extrapolate from there. Same thing with painting rules. We can break the rules a lot. We stretch the rules. We stretch how long we should let paint for. We mix it over, reduce it, mess with this, do this. We as professionals do that all the time. But we know the way it's supposed to start out, and we've stretched the rule a little bit to make sure it's good, and we broke the rule some more a little bit. We just went from there. Just like when I got into the argument a few weeks ago with people on walking away. I'm like, look, you can walk away from the airbrush for a few minutes and you're fine. An hour, you're fine. No, you got to do this. It says to do this. I'm like, yeah, I know it says, but there's times you can do it. Like, I leave my paint and guns for days sometimes and get away with it. I'm not going to tell someone new to do that. When they've been painting for a while, then go from there. And also, W. Scott King, there's also a liability issue. If you're selling your artwork and it flakes off, you have no recourse if you don't follow. Exactly. And those DIYers are coming to help you. All right. Adam, I know some pretty popular YouTubers that do a lot of shit wrong as well. So I don't know who it's from. And like I said, you can get away with it, but if your paint fails and the job doesn't work out, he ain't coming to help you. So, being a YouTuber just makes you a YouTuber. I don't care if you got a lot of followers. There's a bunch of guys on there, and some with really big channels, that use a lot of crappy stuff just to make a buck and sell a lot of stuff just to make a buck. So, and it's a problem you have to sift through, unfortunately. I wouldn't DIY stuff. Like I said, if you've done the practice, go for it. You want to take the risk? Go for it. It's not going to work any better. It's not going to work any better than the manufacturer stuff. So what are you really saving? There's a really big YouTuber I respect and love, and he was talking about eclipses and how to clean the nozzles. And he had the fluid nozzle, and he's unscrewing the cone, the metal nozzle, the chrome plated nozzle out of the brass nozzle, which you're never supposed to do. It actually messes the connection because it's press fit. And he recommends it, but it's wrong by the manufacturer. Can you get away with it? Sure. You can get away with it. Should you do it? No. Because if you do it the right way, it's never going to be better. So just, and he's a big respected YouTuber, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to get shredded if I talk about it. I know YouTubers that spray WD-40 in the airbrushes to clean them and lube them up. Most of them are t-shirt guys, and they don't paint automotive, so they get away with it. I know a few automotive guys that do it, and I can't believe they do it because it's basically putting silicone in there that's going to mess with your gun. And they say, well, what? You know, one of the answers guys like, oh, WD-40 is water-based. I'm like, no, it's not. That's what the W's for. I'm like, no, it's for water displacement. That's what WD stands for. I mean, it displaces water. I mean, it's got lubricants in it, silicones in it. So, yeah. So let me get back to what I'm doing here. So going with the same background and foreground, I'm going to work on the skulls. So little peek here, I pulled. Then I pulled the eyes. Now I'm pulling the nose. I've often said in life, just because you can do something and get away with it doesn't mean you should. You know. Oh, Adam, I know you're not defending. And, you know, if guys want to try it, go for it. Just, you know, some of those YouTubers are doing it just to be provocative and to do a thing, but you don't need the man. You don't need to buy that expensive reducer. You know, it's just like guys who buy, think of it this way. I got a car that's turbocharged and supercharged. The book says use 92 plus octane because of the way the engine's formulated, and it's got a supercharger and turbocharger on it. That's how the Volvo Polestar engines are designed. Can I put 89 octane run? Sure. It'll run. It ain't going to run the right way. It's not going to run top performance. It's probably going to gum up the engine over time and turn. But it'll work. And guys are like, oh, you don't need that high octane. You know. And then you get guys like, oh, I got a Chevette and I run 93 octane because it's cleaner. Right now you just wasted money. So you get a lot of crap online. Was W40 first made by NASA? I don't think it was made by NASA. It might have been. I don't know. Reducers and cleaners are not the same thing. Just so you know. Reducers change the flow of the paint and let it dry properly. Cleaners have more emulsifying agents in it, so it breaks down and it softens the paint, so it never hardens again in a lot of cases. So cleaners and reducers are not. You can use a reducer as a cleaner, but you shouldn't use cleaners as a reducer. Actually, I talked to a good friend of mine today about that because he used 98% or 99% isopropyl alcohol to clean it. Stripped the paint really good, but the problem is he left it in there too long and had some residue, and it hardened. It made the paint into like a gel, a hard, like gummy gel because it's too high. So, yeah. How about DIY airbrush cleaners? Oh, yeah. No, we just had that. Of course. Dude, when I started in the 80s, in the 90s, all we had was water. We used water-based reducers. We used water to thin our old Createx and Decker and Aquaflow. And then as you get older, you start to realize, and that was fine for t-shirts, but it wasn't fine when you started to paint license plates and RC car bodies and stuff like that. So, like I said, we'll just leave it there. There's a big difference between can and should. Can you do something? Yes, you can. Okay, but should you? Probably not. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Now we're doing the rows, okay? No, it doesn't open a can of worms, man. That's why I do this channel. Yeah, the 4012 was good. It's a great reducer, but it had a few problems with some of the paints with the newer gen. That's why they got rid of it. And it didn't pass. It had an issue with California Prop 62 or whatever it was. But it didn't like the 4012, which I loved, didn't like some of the candies, so it actually coagulated. But it is a good cleaner. Just it has some stuff in there, so you know, wear a mask if you're really atomizing that stuff. I believe it was made to keep moisture off rockets. Yeah, it might have been. But yeah, it's water displacement. Okay, so let's look at this piece here. And I'm not sure where we're at time. We're an hour in. Yeah, we'll get this done, and then yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so we did this. So we did this, we did this, we did this, we did the background. I did this, did this, did this. Okay, so I can work down here, but when I get into the rows, I got to start looking. So this is lower than this petal. But if it comes around here, then there's a little overlap here. So I got to figure out what to do here. This is fine. That's all under, but it's over here. So I got to pull here. But this one's over this one's over. So I gotta do some like folding back, and I gotta get creative before I leave this out for last. And then I start working in here, okay? This is where roses and flowers get tricky. No, exactly. Well, exactly. You know, and I'll tell you now with the 4021, I mixed this 6040 Createx Wicked Opaque White a month and a half ago. And did the whole, double, I did the whole double strain, triple strain, and put it in this glass box. This is still flowing perfectly with no issues. Yeah, the Rust-Oleum thing's crazy because that stuff's doesn't, they'll prime with Rust-Oleum because it covers good, it's cheap. Then they put acrylic paint over it and wonder why it doesn't stick well, because Rust-Oleum is like a single stage, almost enamel, a lot of it, or acrylic enamel. There's water-based versions, but it's designed to not let other stuff stick to it. Well, so again, can't get away with it. All right, so now I am gonna, like, this petal is under this little piece here. I'm gonna lift this up and watch what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go like this, and I'm gonna fold it back for registration. I'm not gonna pull it off. And I'm just gonna hit here. And we'll do a little detail on the rose. Like that, right? Let it dry. I can put it back. Now I can do this next one like this, same thing. A little shadow. A little shadow. No big deal. Now I can move here. I can pull this one off like that. See? And start working my way around. I'm mostly painting on the material. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, if you still got the old opaques that need to be set with heat, the setting with heat is not really for the paint. It's to set it into the shirt. But there was a time where people would heat set opaques and acrylics on metal and stuff like that to cure it. That was an old resin that doesn't work like that anymore. The t-shirt is to actually set the pigment into the fabric. It's not really for the paint. It's to basically set it into the fabric more. And that's still needed on the t-shirt line. Okay, so we're good there. I can roll that back up. Now, okay, before I pull this whole top, I got to get these teeth done. All right, so I'm going to come across here. It's really hard to see, but this is what I'm doing. I'm pulling this little section here and this little section here, okay? Leaving the teeth. Pulling that little section and this little section. Really hard to see, especially when you get a lot of paint on it. There. There. Okay. So I left those teeth. So I'm going to make this pretty dark, little bit. Now we're getting to Steve Leahy territory. Little shadow, little shadow. Now, I can pull this whole thing off. Here, this comes down like that. It separates here, so I just kind of come up, kind of core shadow the forehead. Heavy shadow here. Look, when you're learning, you're in a pinch, you work with what you got, you know. But like I said, if you start to work from the optimal setting and the default settings, then you can cheat it a little more and mess with things. But knowing how to do it the right way is going to save you in most cases. All right, so I'm coming here. I'm coming here. This is going to be a heavy shadow. That petal's coming down. We can put some little skull details. The forehead. This is pretty tiny. We go there. Oh, it's a little bit of the cheek right there. I'm going to hit. I do use Rust-Oleum with gray primer when I'm doing RC helicover canopies. I don't even use it. Honestly, if I'm using water-based paints like Createx, I'm just using either the Wicked, because it's direct to high materials and actually bonds, I find, better than Rust-Oleum and covers as fast. Or I'll use the Autoborn Sealer. Way better. It's just not in a rattle can. Alright, so now I'm going to pull this. Pull the whole face mask off the skull. And it's leaving the little teeth there. So watch from here. You just come up off these teeth. And if people like it, it works for it, use it. You know, I'm just really careful with stuff that's made for household use. And then we want to use it in other applications. Like with models and stuff, you get away with a lot more. So you can use the Wicked on the t-shirts, but it's you can use it, but the Createx Colors is actually more wash safe, from what I gather. The original Createx Colors textile paint is better for doing shirts. It actually flows really great. It sinks into the fabric more. The fabric dyes, the pigments load in there better. Whereas the 40 with the Wicked line, you can do them, but they don't wash as well. On the shirts, because the 40-50 doesn't aid in the shirts. 40-50 is to turn it more into a polyurethane so it sticks to hard surfaces better. Oh, dude, the Autoborn Sealer is amazing. It sticks to everything. It sprays like anything. It sprays like any other solvent primer. It's got a really good build, super high coverage. And it's available in, you know, white, gray, black, red. Really good stuff. Okay, so now I'm just going to go here. And now I should be able to pull the teeth. Like I said, you can get away. It'll work, but the Createx Colors themselves holds better. Use my plastic razor blade. I'm going to pull off those teeth. And I'm just going to come in here and do a little separation. And we're still taking bids on this. It's at $300. It's not going to make it for Valentine's Day, but it would be a cool Valentine's to get for someone who likes skulls. What do you recommend for leather? Createx regular. I think you'll be actually better with the Wicked. But there's some other paints out there that really bonds to yellow better. I use the Bowser Clear or 40-30 with your the 40-50. You can use the 40-30, works as well, but the 40-50 works better. The 40-30 works fine. It does do a similar thing, but the 40-50 has UV inhibitors in it, so it makes a stronger bond. They essentially work the same way. The 40-50 is just a better formulation. All right, so now I'm going to pull this side here. I'm going to pull this up one and leave the lower one on this side here. Okay, so you guys following along, you can see this. So I see a lot of guys use the old opaque line. What do you mean the old opaque line? Like which old opaque line? If it's Wicked opaque, that's the newer stuff. if it's Createx Colors opaque, that's the t-shirt line. It's not older, it's just more formulated for t-shirts. All right, I'm going to flip here. That's going to flip down. Little detail. Keeping the roses really simple. I really want to get this kind of done so I can try to get up into here. Angela's paint. Yeah, Angela's paints are good. I guess they're really good, and they pinstripe like. Oh, that's nice to know. Yeah, they're really good. They're direct for leather. Yeah, Alpha 6. I've never used it. I have used the Angelus. It's great. There's some other stuff out there that's supposed to be really good too, and those are formulated for leather, so they bond to leather. I've gotten away with Createx and stuff a lot for it. Thank you very much, Calvin Jones. Appreciate it. You know what I used to use a lot, but it's more of an industrial stuff. But I used to use it for my whites and some of my main colors that I mix in Createx. Oh, that's a nice angle, actually. Sem used to make a product called Sure Coat, S-U-R-E coat. And it's a leather dye and paint system that's actually used to dye leather, like in paint leather, fully. I know they use it on airlines, they use it in automotive. It stuff's freaking bulletproof. There's an airbrush. Airbrush is okay, like for the heavy colors, like light, subtle stuff, it doesn't. But what I would do is I would use it for the base tones. Then I would use the Createx for details. And then they had 3 different top coats. They had a gloss, they had a matte, a satin, and a high gloss for the leather to get that leather shine. And I would just top coat it with that. And dude, once you did that stuff was impenetrable. So what I do recommend, if you get a hold of it, you can use almost any paint if it sticks to the leather. But if you want to top coat the leather, when you're done, SEM, S-E-M, Sure Coat, their top coats, their matte, satin, and gloss are like, you can scrub them. You can scrub them if they're so strong. I've done motorcycle seats with them and everything else. Really good stuff. Okay. Back into here. Okay, so this rose is kind of flipping right here. Need to cut out early, guys, or 3:30 does come early. I'll be sleeping. Have a good night, man. Thank you very much. So that one flips over like that. And just gets that nice little. And really, once it's established, you can really get away with doing whatever you want. Now I can pull. Now I got to work up in here. So this can come off. And I can work into here. The rose, I got to work like inside. Let's break this down. Okay. So I got to look inside. So I can do here. No, I got to do this one. Here's good. Here's good. Actually, that's the one right there. This is behind everything. And then I got a little hole here, and then I can work my way in. You just got to work your way in and around. I can't remember what I used to use back in the early 2000s in the interiors of cars, detail business. Yeah, so Duplicolor used to make some nice car dye interior stuff. It worked awesome. He used to use the hell out of that in detail shops. I used to work in a detail shop. And then when I worked with SEM, I found out that they did all the industrial stuff, and it's actually water-based. And I remember they were like, oh, that's how the jet blue leather seats are painted. And you know how much use they get. And I started using it. Like, stuff works great. Yeah, I used to use some interior dye back in, yeah, it was, I used to use Duplicolor dye in the detail shop. A buddy of mine turned me on to it in the 90s. I remember we dyed my buddy had a Mustang Fox body, early 90s. It was a 92 or 94. And it had red interior, and he hated the red interior. So he changed it to black, and we used a Duplicolor interior. It held up for a while. So we go here. We go here. I'm going to come down. Get this one here. Really, I'm just looking for what's in the right order. Luis Sanchez, my pleasure. Anytime. Thanks for hanging out on the channel. Come back, hang out. Oh, and I haven't thanked all my down dirty tricksters for all the support. We got a couple new ones. I know Crafton's Custom Paint is new this week. Naughty Paint Biker was week before. Levi's Art, same thing. Scott, you are all new. You're welcome. And if you guys haven't signed up, you get 25% off all the digital downloads, anything in the store. You'll get your code. So if you're not a member, $3 a month. Support the channel, help it grow. We're almost at 80. You want to get the 100 this year? Be great. Kelly Ross is the man. Thank you, sir. Bam, bam, bam. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh yeah, I think Ray, you just jumped over the hoop. Okay, so let's get this rose done. Get here. Gotta get moving. Gotta get moving. Okay, so I did that, and come off. Boom. So you see, you start getting that nice look. That's off. I can come into here. That's gonna go right here. This one. That one comes off. So you see how I'm kind of feeling my way around. It's really dry in here today. I keep getting that vent dry. Oh, ventilate. Crafty cloth headliners. Oh my god. Yes, I remember those days well. So that comes off here. And I'm just kind of going around. Remember, you can go back and detail the hell out of these more later. It's really just picking your way around. This is pretty small and tight. So don't... I do a lot of messing around with these, and I go back in, I highlight them, and I do some erasing. And it's just building layers. Remember what I said about the hour, 2 hour, depending on the customer? Decide how intricate you want this rose. You can give a 5-minute rose, 20-minute rose, a 3-hour rose. Water droplets and all sorts of shit on top of it. You can get as crazy as you want to get. I usually just try to get as much off as fast as I can, and then I go back in and start detailing later. See a little thing here, you can coarse shadow up the side, give it a little radius. You see how fast everything starts to come together. And this painting is going to look bitchin' cleared because of the metallic base. Well, that's why I made that rose vector set, man. It makes it a lot easier. Easy guidelines to follow. I got some pretty simple roses in there, too. Let's see how fast that comes together. Just make sure you get all the little pieces off. Now I can come in, add little wrinkles and little little vein details, and make darken areas, shadow that. And see, just watch it kind of come together. And by freehanded, you can soften some of those petals and those overlays. And come back in and do highlights later. They're going to be happy with it. Okay, so I come up here. Let's get down to the hand. I got to move this camera. Maybe I can move this camera. Hold on a second. I think coming at an angle is going to be better for this. So bear with me for this. I'm going to move this camera quite a bit. We'll come down here like this, because we're working down in this area. We'll zoom in here. I'll focus this up a little bit better. There we go. Thanks, Joe. Make me nervous materials. Ah, man, you just get used to it. You just get good at it. And yeah, I'll use a blade. I'll use a pick tool like this as well. This is just a pick. If you want, you can use plastic razor blades. You know. So what we can do here is, you could do some lace work on this. I'm just going to pull that. There's going to be fire and stuff down here, so I'm not too worried. We're going to hit heavy here, heavy shadow. We'll come up her hip and kind of side area here. Her hair is going to come down, but I've got to get the basically the bra area off. You could, like, I don't think, do I have any? I don't think I do. Oh, I do. So you could do some lace work like this. Usually I'd stick the lace down. Oops, I can't. All right. Camera angle change. Camera angle change. All right. So usually I'd have some sticky on the lace so it stays. But we can just put a little taste of it. You know what I mean? Just have a little showing. And now I'm going to pull the whole thing off. Okay. This piece right here, if it's really confusing, this is background. So this piece and this piece. So this is the hair coming around here. And this is her side. And this is like where her hip starts to meet. Okay. So I know it's really confusing. We can do some like little blowouts. And make like a little detailing. These take a little bit to control, but once you get your paint flowing right. I'm just doing little flood strokes, basically. And just letting the centers blow out. Drop shadow here. And what you're going to need to do, this is where having the paper really helps. Find the right one. Yeah. Make it a mess. Okay, so you're going to make a loose stencil for that curve. So I'm just going to take one cut like this. I haven't seen that trick before. Aren't usually intentional. Yeah, oh, dude, we used to do, like, here's a trick. I don't know if I could do it on paper. No. You need something a little slick. We used to do, like, on silver to make it look like a row of dimes. If you get it to not blow out like that, and you go quick enough, you can make it look like a weld. We used to do that on, like, metal grunge type stuff quite a bit. All right, so just make a loose stencil like that. Heavy drop shadow from the hair. And that's going to do a nice coarse shadow, just like we were doing here. Now we're just doing it to the breast area. You guys need to control yourself. If you can't handle this, you should not be painting. But I'm radiusing with everything here. Ta-da! Simple, right? Simple. If you want a little lace treatment, and give it a little fabricy feel. It's very subtle. Like I said, we're going to put fire and stuff down here, so don't go too nuts. And this is where side comes in. The hair is going to overlap. We'll do more of this later. But realistically, so it's less confused. Think of that as that's her side. That's her shoulder. This hair is coming all the way down. We're going to have a queen symbol here and fire. Okay, really loose. Zoom back out. You can kind of see it more. A little heavier on that edge. So you can play around a lot with this later. We're just establishing the overall pick at this point. They got you moving. There's the boy. Oh yeah, I saw you moving up to PA. I got to get down to PA. I want to go. If you don't know, it's there. The Frank Frazetta Museum is in PA. And I've been meaning to make a pilgrimage down there and get a hold of some other artists and go hang out. Are they working? Just trying to follow a conversation. All right, so good there. Paranormal, paranoic. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Super chats. It's really adding up tonight and last week. Getting a new subscriber. Awesome, man. Thank you very much for popping in. Appreciate it. Where are you out of? So I know it's in pounds, so you're not in the US. Taxes and bad roads. Try coming to Massachusetts. Trade you. Okay, so this whole area can be done. I'm just going to pull this off, see if it makes, it'll make a little more sense. So that's going to be background. Okay, that's going to be background. Let's get the hand done. Then we can put the symbols on, and I can kind of wrap this thing up, except for some last details. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Oh, that's awesome. My brother is John Mackay, and that's where my family is from as well. Not from, but most of my family is Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Scottish. So, welcome, fellow son of fire, or son of Kai. Yeah, my brother John is John Mackay as well. All right, let's get into the hands. Let's do the hands. Okay, hand. All right, we're going to get the palm. The palm is here. This hand should come together pretty quick. I'm going to try to get another for the love of the conversation. Dave, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's very true. You haven't seen Bad Road unless you come to Mass. Mass is one of the. I know it's the highest in New England. Highest road construction per mile in repair. It's like it used to be something like $5 million per road mile to New Hampshire's 800,000 per road mile. New Hampshire roads are 10 times better. It just shows you. But thank you for popping in from Scotland. I hope to visit at some point. I am going to Germany. I'm going to be teaching in Germany in May for anyone over there. We got this coming up. And now it's Airbrush Day, so I'll be there teaching. So that's going to be a fun one. All right, so down here, do I have a better angle? I think I do. Let's go here, switch. Oh, they're talking about it. Yep. They've been talking about that for a long time. Cheers to taxes. Oh, yeah. Lewis, you in Mass too? All right, so this hand, I didn't put like the joints coming down. I'm just going to put a couple lines. Like it's the joints coming down to the hands. They're going to be pretty much in full dark. So I'm just kind of hitting them hard. Hitting them hard. Just so it pushes back to the background. Yeah, Dave, let us know when you're in the area. I think Gary's in PA too, right? Yeah, Gary's in PA. Kyle Morley is in PA. Well, he's technically Jersey, but he's right on the border, just outside of Philly. Luis, you're in the, oh yeah, Springfield area. Yep, I used to go do the Big E out there all the time. I spent a lot when my daughter was riding for UPHA in horse show circuit. I'd be at the Big E fairgrounds like 4 or 5 times a year. All right. Wrist. We got the joint here. The joint here. We're gonna move this up because I got the magnets on here. All right, so here. Oh, we gotta make sure you shadow enough because of all the hair going here. So we got that joint, that's the wrist. This is not fully anatomically correct, so I don't want to hear any corrections because I'm sure someone's like, well, you know the right number of phalanges and this is no distal phalange. This, yeah. Trust me, I've gotten that for people. Oh, that's cool. So here. Now I'm going to pull this. That's for the wrist. Let's see, just so you can see it kind of together and shaping up at the same time. You can see kind of what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, I gotta make a trip. Man, this summer I should do it. Do a Friends of Down and Dirty Tricks, Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks, visit the Frazetta Museum. Just anyone who can get to the area comes. That could be fun. Then technically, would that be tax deductible? Oh, Dave, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. Thank you so much. There you go, 2-hour ride, yeah. Yeah, road trip. I was supposed to go down at some point to, was it Wakefield or Wilmington, North Carolina, to do a boat? And it was supposed to be soon, but now it's looking like May or June. So I don't know if it's happening yet. It's kind of up in the air. So I was supposed to make a big announcement because House Color is going to be sponsoring it. But there's just some issues with getting the boat itself getting ready for us. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern. So maybe when go down for that on the way back. Could be a nice little extra trip. Okay, so again, working just like the rose, bottom up. You can see what I'm pulling. Coarse shadow, a little detail to the digits. Drop shadow that the rose stem comes through. Hit a little extra detail here. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, where's Cheese Grits and Nyquil too? He hasn't been on tonight. He's out in Amherst, UMass Amherst, and that area, and he's got a painting waiting here that I was either gonna have him come visit and hang out, or I'll mail it to him. He got the Death and Sepia painting. I'm up on the coast. I'm up in Merrimack, Mass, near Newburyport. Is where I'm at. Get the hand. You know, I think I'm just gonna go back to camera 2 so you can see a little better. How about that? I'm not trying to make it super skeletal. I want it more like bony, but not like too skeletal, because I still want to keep some feminine qualities to it. Most of the roads are scenic in the area. Yeah, similar to here. Once you get outside. That's going to go up. There's a little one here. Yeah, Forsaken Island. Yeah, I used to go down to Cape a lot in Marston's Mills. Where my wife's grandfather used to live. And some other relatives. We used to go down there every other weekend or so. Alright, so this one's behind this one. This one's behind this one. Yep, we just keep going down the line. And then the rows. And that we're done. So 1, 2, 3. So watch how this comes together. I do this in real time. Meaning real time, like how I'd be in the shop, not talking on camera. One finger. And we'll do the next same thing. Just remember to keep contrast. So I never want to make these darker than this, because that's the palm. It's behind everything. So you got to make sure that stays darker in the background. That's the key to this technique working. See, I'm just doing that core, just that core shadow. That's all I'm doing. So, look, you can never go wrong with the original Essential 7 with like the big shield. I've been an Art Tool supporter since I started. My Skull stencils. These are great for beginners and to me. These have everything you need in them. And Gerald Mendez's texture effects are a must. Those, I'd get some basic curves and some texture effects. Don't worry about getting imagery ones like skulls at first. Like, my skulls are great. There's a lot of other ones in the market. I like mine because they're more universal, which is why I just did them. But I would stick with curves and textures first. That's what I get, a bunch of nice little curve sets and get some nice texture stencils like these. Like, my go-tos every week are curves and like textures. Gerald Mendez texture effects. These are my go-tos. That's what I would definitely recommend. And yeah, get my pocket graphics. They're cheap. There's 6, but basically 7 stencils. And they cover almost everything you need for a lot of different scenarios. Now that digit's behind the rose there. Make sure you shadow it. Yep, I make my own too, but there's some good ones out there that aren't worth making. W. Scott King, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Appreciate the support. Let me know if you have any questions, ma'am. Okay, and then this comes out like here, and that stem comes through. Coarse shadow, heavy shadow here. All right, let's back off this thing and see what we got. Here, moving the camera, shaky, shaky. Look at that. It's a cool piece. Digging it. I'm gonna just try to zoom, focus here. I'm gonna zoom out on this one. Oops, that just zoomed in. Exit, zoom out. So I gotta move this camera quite a bit now. Sorry. Jesus. This wasn't part of the plan. There we go. Let's get that reference image off. They're the side by side. Yeah, I had a double. I don't have that one set up anymore. Oh well. Let's just go here. I kind of like that angle. That looks cool. You taught us to do the teeth back to front. So work the pinky. No. You wouldn't have worked the pinky. You could have done the pinky first just on this, but you had to do here. The pinky had to stay for this, and the pinky had to stay for this. Okay? So that's why I did that last, because it didn't really matter for here. So that's why I left the stem, because that had to stay. So I went from here to here and stopped at the pinky, because that's below. I went from here, because this is underneath. And then I worked my way. This one is behind this. This one is behind this. This one is behind the pinky. Then the pinky goes last. Hey, Jared, thanks for popping in. Appreciate the night. Have some drinks. Cheers. I got to pour another one. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, like I said, you could have done the pinky, but you could have only done these 2 digits here. So it's just as easy to leave those 2 digits in that to the very end. All right. Night, Jammer. Good night, Dad and crew. All right, so now what I gotta do? This whole thing's done. I'm still debating if I'm going to add any white highlights and stuff. But who knows? Paranormal, thank you for popping in. Gotta go, 2:45 a.m. here. I'll certainly be turning in again. Good night. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. I gotta get all this. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to get it like here, a little bit pinky, more magentas. What I'm gonna do, Chris Carlisle, appreciate. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna take my magenta here, which is not a candy; it's the illustration, and I want to tint a little bit more pink in a lot of these areas here, just to get separation. Let's see if it shows up on the other camera better. Yeah, it doesn't really show up for you guys. I can see it here, so it's just kind of pinking things up a little bit more. It's more like a wash. You can kind of see it happening. Yeah, I'll do more of that towards the end. I just want to get separation there. Got to make sure that's dry. Everyone's bumping out. Thanks, guys. All right. What do we have for time? Oof. All right, here's the ideal question. Do I finish this Monday? Yeah. Let's see how far we get in the next 10 minutes. Let's get it set up. I got a lot of picking. Because I still want to do some fire. But I want to pull this all up. Should have pulled from the bottom up like this. Because from now it's background and details. And I'm not going to finish this tonight. And it's not like it was making it anywhere for Valentine's Day. But I'll probably just... Yeah. Now it looks cool. Now see how you get that separation. You can see her kind of tilt. Really good separation there. And it's just deciding if I want to do the white. But I got to get the cards on here. And then it's the cards. And then it's just background fire and final elements. So maybe we will do a Monday night cap-off feed for this. But I could just take final bids if anyone else is interested. If someone wants this, if someone's looking to buy this painting, anyone watching wants it as a, hey, I got this for you for Valentine's Day. If you want to put final bids in, we can do final bids now, and you can lock it in. I can photograph it and send a picture of what's coming, but it's definitely not going to be shipped out before Valentine's Day. And so now what I got is I got the queen symbol and the heart here and here. So let's get that on there. And go from there. Where's my tape? Here we go. Oh, Joel came in. Hi, buddy. All right, so now I made this mask. It lines up just with the hair. Now, when you download this now, this is already in place. But I wasn't able. I didn't have this design last week when I started this project, so when you download it now, this is already in the right place, so you don't have to do this unless you follow the first file versus the second. So hinge technique. And I did this so it lines up to my artwork. Yeah, let's just finish as much as we can. I don't know if I want to do a Monday night feed. I'd really like this to be done for Valentine's Day for whoever ends up being the high bid, and I kind of want it off my plate. Go. So if enough people stay on watching, I'll just keep going. Nice to see so many cool artists here. Well, the coolest one just entered the building, so now we're all grateful. Okay, this one is going to be a lot of picking. I think I'm dreading this because I designed it, overcomplicated it because I wanted it to look cool, and you can't even see it. But let's bring it out. All right. Well, if that's the case, I need a little Buffalo Trace. Boop. All right. Yeah, we still got 45 people here, so I'll just keep going. Cheers, guys. Look, hand skull. Okay. All right. So let's see if this is easier than I think it's going to be. When I do complex designs like this, I always stick it on first. I'm not going nowhere. I'm here till he hit the red button. It is a red button. Oh, shit. I didn't record this. I mean, it records on YouTube, but I didn't record the footage. Oh, well. All right, so it's a really complex detail thing. Really make sure it's pushed down. I'm going to keep as much as I possibly. There's some really tiny stuff in here. That's not all of it's going to stay. Probably need to make this about a 1/4 inch bigger to do what I wanted to do, but it's still good. I'm just going to pick it out and make it, because it's supposed to look eroded. So if I'm missing a couple little things, it's still going to be fine. Look at that. Still going to be fine. So I was going to do this 2 ways. I was going to leave it and then paint fire around it, But I kind of want to make it dark, like a playing card would be. Okay. Wait. That wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Nice. Let's see if I can get a little bit better here for this one. Focus in. Just so you can see how small those cuts are. Yeah. So it's tight. It's things like this when the people say, oh, I used a plotter, it's cheating. You know what, dude? If you want to hand cut this out with this detail and have it look this clean, go for it. More power to you. But I'm going to pull this off in 15 minutes. By hand, ain't no way. You'll pull it off, but it ain't gonna look as good. And even if it does, it's gonna take you 3 hours. I'm cashing the check while someone's still sketching and cutting. So that's why I use plotters for stuff like this. Just make short work of it. You get great results. There you go. Cool. See that? Oops, I missed a spot. Did I miss anything else? Okay, so what I'm going to do, there's a couple little things that's supposed to be in here, but I'll shade it. Yeah, it's detailed. And the file I have even has more detail. Like, I have a bigger version of it. I actually simplified it for this. Then what you do, just because I don't want overspray really outside here, we're just going to do this. That's the top one. All right. All right. You know what? Queen of Hearts. I was going to do them black. And then I'm like, you know what? I should just do them in like a nice magenta and purple solid. Because it's hearts. Mm-hmm. All right. Do you use a big plotter? Yeah, I have a big plotter. You know, I don't have a big one. I have a 24-inch plotter that does really nice detail. A Cricut or Cameo would do this just fine as well. I'm going to get a silhouette, but not sure what to run the program on. The silhouette comes with a nice program by itself. Okay. So I'm just going to fold these edges so I don't get overspray. And I'm going to do this magenta. Do a bunch of nice coats. While that one dries up there, I'm going to go to this one. up here to this one. So this is illustration magenta mixed with some 4050. Give it some extra bite. I like the candy magenta, but over pink, I find if I go too heavy with it, it's a little too rosy color towards a maroon. So I'm going to go here like this. Do a nice heavy magenta as opposed to a red like the Queen of Hearts would normally be. Little silver not covered. Oh, you talking about here? Did I miss something? Did you do this? I didn't do it on a Cricut. I hate the Cricut software. Cricut software sucks. The machine works fine. I like the Silhouette better. Yeah, the Silhouette program is great. It's basically FlexiSign. Yeah, I need to get a new... I have a first-gen Silhouette. I still have it. I want to get a newer one. Basic laptop and PC will work. I do know you're an Apple guy, PC. But you don't need anything special. No. You can use either. I have it on both. It works the same on my PC. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of purple to this magenta. Then I'm just going to hit the kind of edges so it's a little deeper. Hard to kind of tell here. I'm going to shade the heart more. For those getting into using a plotter for the first time, all you have to remember is plotters work with shapes and paths and not pixels like Photoshop. Once you get that straight, it starts to make a lot more sense. Most people have a problem. They want to treat it like a Photoshop image. And when you do that, you have issues. When you treat it like a shape, like it's paper cut shapes on a table, you start to understand the way things move in layout. It works so much better. I'm going to add a little drop shadowing here. Keeping it simple. I'm a PC guy personally, but I know a lot of people like Apple maybe because... No, PCs are, honestly, for most design work and a lot of graphic work, PCs are a lot more user-friendly because there's a lot more software options. Macs are a lot more locked down, so you do have some more issues with a Mac. I just prefer Mac's interface overall, but I have both. I have a PC and a Mac. The differences these days are kind of negligible. So I said, I'm just doing some extra little shading just to get so it's not super stickery. And it stands off that base color. Yeah, the cameos are great, man. So the background panel, I don't know if you remember, Gerald, this is the old Createx Metallics that came out 10 to 15 years ago. And I did a whole series of test panels for them of all the different colors, and I've had it lying in the back of my studio for that long. So it's a very coarse pink metallic. Is what it is. When I unmask it, I'll be able to show it a little better. Okay. Pull this off. And let's see what we got here. Let's see what this reveals, shall we? And then we'll add just a little, I'm just going to add a little pink, whitish fire glow around it. And I think that's going to be it. If this piece had went for where I wanted, around like, if it got up to around like 600 range or so, I'd spend a lot more time in the fire and details and stuff like that. But sometimes I gotta quit while the getting's good. There we go. That looks cool. Still drying because this is the illustration, so it's a little softer, so I got to be careful. Even though I got the 40-50, it's still kind of curing. But the technique I'm doing here, this is what I'm going to be going over and how I develop it in my Germany class on the 1st of May. At this one here. So, like, I'm going to go over how I developed these from scratch. Paint a project. I'm not painting the same project, obviously. I'm going to do one special just for that program. And it's starting to fill up. So anyone who's over there, if you're interested, I'm doing this project and doing an automotive graphic, flame and lowrider type tape out panel as well. Those are 2 projects that I'm focusing on, and a few demo nights as well. And like $300 for a cameo, I need to start using it. And because of the big format, you can cut. Yeah, but the camera, you can cut 12 inches by whatever length. So, because you can put rolls in it. I only use a 24-inch plotter. And most times I only use a 12-inch material. You can do a lot with that. You can almost do this painting at this scale in one piece on the cameo. All right, let me do this. You are still on. It's to bed. Yeah, I decided just to keep going. I'm gonna take my plastic razor. That's why I love these. These are scrape rate ones. They're way better than. There's some YouTubers that sell some other ones that are a lot cheaper than these, but they're a lot cheaper for a reason. These are so sharp and crisp and smooth that they don't scratch. Dave, you're amazing, Dave. You are amazing tonight. We've had so many people tonight. I really appreciate everyone. It's really helping. See how I'm just going to do this. Just see how I scrape. Here, I can do this. That's what I love about these scrape right versus a lot of the cheap ones. The scrape rights, I can just come in like this. I just slide. And it doesn't scratch the surface at all. Really gets under that edge nice. Makes short work. Of them details. A little piece right here. Whoops. And there we go. That's the main one. My Cricut. Biggest I can do is 12 by 24. Cricut Part2. Yeah, I thought I could go longer than 24. 12 by 24 is a good size panel. You might be able to change the software to do longer. I don't know. I've never bothered because I have a 24-inch plotter, so I never bothered trying to go longer. Possibly, yeah. I know they do rolls. and once you get above a certain amount. Just trying to improve the odds. This hour. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. So I want to get a little fire, but not much, man. I don't know if I even want to do it. I don't know. I kind of like it the way it sits. Gerald, what do you think? Would you do a... It is silver metallic. Should I do a white fire glow behind it or just leave it? I think it's kind of clean the way it is. I don't know. Gary's a high bidder. But I don't know if it needs it. I think it's just kind of clean the way it is. I'm going to put just a little... Yeah, I'm kind of there too, man. I don't think it really needs it. I think maybe just a little like drop shadow and extra hair wisps coming off. Just to soften that hard edge stencil look. Let's kind of soften that. It's almost just enough. Let's keep this thing going. Kelly, thank you, sir. Getting tired now. It's nice, clean look, but I do like the frame line like a playing card. Oh, like a line around it? Yeah. Like a skinny line going like here to here. Yeah, that could work. But maybe just have a line go here, stop, and here straight down. Maybe that's it. Here's the thing about artwork, guys have to remember, Gerald knows all too well. At a certain point, you got to know when to stop. And remember with automotive, you can always clear it and try stuff on top. I've done that a lot. Like, clear coated it and go, nope. I've clear coated and added like some artwork, or automotive will try different pinstripes. Yeah, let me break out the fine line tape. Let's do a nice little line. Maybe a double. Yeah, I got an idea. Maybe a little blending. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do that and call this done. So I can get my tape started. Okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go... let's do this. Use some different colored tapes. I'm going to do cover. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as the gap line. I'm going to do 1/8 inch gap. Good rule for how to do tape outs. I'm going to do then a 16th inch. This is going to be, so it'll be an 1/8 inch line, 16th inch gap. No, it's too thick. I think it's too thick. Let's do 16th line. 16th gap. Okay. That's better. Oops. Forgot this was way out here like this. So 16th inch gap. We're going to keep this even tighter so it's a double, really tiny. Then I'll back mask off that one. Oops, that's shrunk together. The red is really soft. Okay, now what we'll do yeah, sorry, we're just complete. Okay, so just subtle. I'm going to blend it soft. Double pin. And because this pink's cleared, if I don't like it, I can wipe it off. Let's see if I like the way that looks. We'll blend this up. Yeah, then I'll have the other one come here and here. Same thing. Where'd my quarter go? Where'd my 1/4 inch tape go? Man, my bench is a mess. Well, I'll use this 1/4 inch. Sorry about that. Yes, Gary, you always appreciate it. And I appreciate you for appreciating it. Bam. Do the gap. So 16th inch line, 16th inch gap. We'll make this one just... Actually, I don't even need this. Now I'll go real tight with this one. Right up to that edge. Yep, could have done that. Because I got to go across the side that I forgot about. Well, Gary, do you have the Joker? You have the Joker, right? The Jester? I'm just forgetting. Forgetting things at my old age. Well, if over the years, I'll just eventually do an entire playing card set. And you'll have to collect them all, Gary. Where's my knife? Okay. So now that's going to come out. Cut. Cut. Okay. Oh, these are going out of steel. So, just example. If I was painting this on the hood of a car, obviously I'd spend some more time on it. I ain't doing this less than $800. I mean, on a gas tank, $800. Hood of a car, full size, probably $2,500 to $3,000. I'll spend more time than this, but it ain't going anywhere near a couple $100. Just so people understand. There we go. 16th line, 16th gap. 32nd line. And then I'm going to call this a night. This is a cardboard box with all my artwork. All the shipping. He takes he buys the artwork for house building materials. So he takes all the shipping boxes that we send our artwork in, and he builds his house out of it. So I'm not going hard to the edge here. I'm just going to blend soft. I think this is going to be classier than fire. I can't believe I forgot to hit the main record button on this damn thing. That works. Cool. We'll just do a little minimal ghost of a fire lick. The subtlest of subtle. And stripes can come out of it. Just like that. And I think, aside from, we'll put a little extra magenta in the eyes, a little extra magenta in the rose, a little extra magenta down here. On our top. Not really showing. Icing on the cake. Yep. All right. I think that is going to be a winner. Oh, shade the background of the arm. Thank you. And then I got a little bit more here. Add some extra hair. This thing's gonna look bitchin' cleared. Couple little lines, kept it classy instead of doing the fire burst. I think when this is cleared and that metallic, let me see if I can back the shading off this a little more. There we go. So you can see the way the reflection is going to work. And this is all candy, so you'll see all the metallic flake is still going to come through it. I'll usually do a little tweak. I'm still, like, half me wants to take some semi-opaque white and do a little highlight in the eye, and maybe a little water droplet in the rose, maybe a little highlight here. Very strategic, but man, I don't want to go too far. And I'm worried the white will be too much of a pop. So I think I'll clear it and then maybe do a test. Because I would usually double clear these. We'll clear them twice. So I'm not 100%. I might add a couple little white highlights after the clear and do 2 clear sessions. But I'm even hesitant to, it looks so good. Like, I could put some wax and grease remover on to see it and clean it, but I don't want to risk it, but I should actually. Let's see. This is KC10 wax and grease remover. We'll just get a little spray on here. That takes the heavy stuff off. Let's get a little bit of light. And see what clear will look like. There you go. Nice coarse. This is roughly what it's going to look like. Super cool. And that degreases it. Don't take anything loosey. That's why I use the House Color KC10 on Cratex. Because it cleans the surface really well. This is some micro fine airbrushing, like very little amount of paint, and it doesn't take anything off. That's why I use it. That sells it. Right? Just translucent. Yeah, I think very translucent white accents, but I think I'm going to do it after I clear it. Just so I can play with it. You know, like at the most, do this now. Breaking my. I have a pinky white mixed up. This is translucent. Let's see. Just a happy little eye. Ooh. Ah. A little bit here. A little bit on the rose. Just ever so slight icing on the cake. Maybe I'll do a little in the hair too, but not now. Minimal. I'm not touching anything else. We'll pink that out a little bit more. That's it. No one to quit. Yep. Just jewels in the crowns. Maybe I'll put a few in the hearts. I'll mess with it after I clear it. Or I won't. If it's done when it's cleared the first time, it's done. Yeah, just that little bit of white. Boop. I think that's a cool painting. Pretty stoked about it. That one's been rattling around in my head for a few years. I'll add a... Thanks, sir. It'll be a nice Valentine's extra for your lovely better half. Cheers, everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed this. I don't know if I'm going to be on next week. I have to restore 4 carousel horses on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it may throw a wrench in next week's, but I'll keep you posted. And then the week after, I'm doing a whole big thing for JBL. So the next 2 weeks is going to be a little sporadic. So I will keep everyone posted on that. So I want to thank everyone for popping in. I want to thank everyone for the super chats. Some new members, a lot of new people from all over the world joined in tonight. Thank you so much. Share, like, subscribe, get this channel growing. There's a bunch of other channels that are trying to overshadow the night, and they're picking away at the numbers, and we're starting to go back up, so I want to keep that momentum. So let me know what you guys want to see. We got some more stuff planned. I think this was a great way. Second project of the year. The first one was the horse skull. That one's actually ready to ship out. And then this one, 2 strong starts for the year, I think. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Gerald. Thanks, Gary, for the bids. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. Luis, thank you for popping in for the first time from Mexico. We had some from Scotland, UK, people from everywhere. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share, join up, become a member, get some discounts, follow the project along. And everyone have a great Valentine's Day with your other half or with yourself. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. Oh.